Go. Ready? Good. Back to first off, please. You wanted
Ball movement, more assists. You got it tonight. Just how pleased were you with kind of the offense's bounce back and what kind of keyed the offense tonight?
Yeah, I thought the ball movement, especially in the first half, was excellent. I think we had 127 passes in the first half. I think 10 assists maybe on 13 baskets in that first half as well. You know, when you play games against good competition, you hope you can go back and review video and find out where your weaknesses are. And certainly lack of ball movement was a big weakness on our part in the last two games in Nassau. But I will say that the way the schedule laid out in the Bahamas was difficult. Games 2 and 3, we didn't have 24 hours. I've never seen a team so tired. No excuses, because you know that going into a tournament that plays 3 games in 3 days. But Memphis is really good and North Carolina is really good. And in a short sample size, I know it was an exhibition game, but you play Purdue in an exhibition game. You go to the Bahamas, you play those 3 games. You play this game tonight. We've really been challenged. And I think we're going to get better. Incredible home crowd tonight. I mean, just an insane environment. You know, really cool to experience that, even as a kind of an old guy, you know.
Vantage point really kind of stepped up on defense tonight. What did you make of them kind of grinding in on that end of the floor?
I thought defensively they were better. We still need more from both of them defensively. I think they both can improve. You know, we don't want to battle fouling a 3-point shooter late. I think Al can keep the ball in front of him a little bit better. Thought Blocker's defense was awesome. You know, it's a tough position to, you know, you're trying to break a press, the team's down and they're, you know, coming at you with an extra defender. And you know, I'm sure Layden's going to, you know, he's going to be able to, that's a big time learning experience for a freshman to be in a game, you know, down the stretch against Duke in front of the largest crowd in the history of Bud Walton and do it, you know, early in his freshman year. So a lot of really positive things. I thought you know, the execution of the game plan tonight was a 10 out of 10. You know, especially when 25 Mitchell was in the game and we had an extra defender at the rim or a goalie. And I thought it might have altered their rotation from what we've seen in the past.
A lot in the preseason and leading up, even through the exhibition season, about all the depth and quality of depth. And with Tremont Mark, your leading scorer out, maybe your most efficient and effective guy throughout the year so far. Guys stepped up. L. Ellis got off the slump. Davenport had a multiple 3-point night in the first half, and then Chandler Lawson looked like he did against Purdue. Tell me what your thoughts are about your depth and the quality of it.
Well, tonight, you know, when you look at the bench points, 36-9. I think, Kevin, that was a big part of tonight's win. Because when you're down your leading scorer and your bench goes out and outscores an opponent like that's that talented, with a full roster, I think it you know, that you know, it's pretty clear that we do have some depth. And I thought that Davenport's 2 threes were crucial. I thought Blocker's dribble drives. And then I thought Mitchell did a great job with 6 points in 9 minutes on his rolls and finishes around the rim.
On that, you talking about Battle, I think it's his 4th 21-point game, and then the 5 rebounds and 5 assists coming off the bench.
Yeah, I thought his assists were probably the most impressive thing. He drew extra defenders. We ran a couple isolation plays for him. He did a good job of reading the defense and reading the extra help. And his rebounds, you know, really important. You know, we need, you know, like Davenport, we need JD to rebound a little bit for us to be able to extend his minutes, because he can certainly stretch the defense out with his 3-point shooting. So, with each of our guys, there's areas that each guy still got to get a lot better at for us to reach our potential.
Didn't have any points in the Bahamas. I don't think he had any assists. What happened to him in the Bahamas, and then what happened tonight where he looked, more like his usual self, I guess?
Well, he didn't get a lot of he was 0 for 10 over there. And, I didn't think that we were doing the things that, that I wanted to do from a ball movement standpoint. And so, you hope that, players can learn and sit back and evaluate. So I thought he was great. I mean, I don't know if he turned the ball over at all the whole game. I mean, I think tonight he started the game off 0 for 4. Because I remember whispering to my son, he's 0 for 14, his last 14 attempts, and I got to make a decision. But I do think it's clear that when L plays good, we're a much better team. So whether I have to, stick with him if he's struggling in a game, that might be the case, and try to let him play through it a little bit more maybe than I did in the Bahamas.
Mark out, you needed L, other guys, but how big was it that L responded with you guys down your leading scorer?
Well, that was a big part of the reason that we changed the starting lineup like we did is because of T Mark being out. So Layden did a great job, in Nassau, but there's no way we're going to win tonight's game without L picking up some of T Mark's points. There's no way that we were going to win tonight without Davenport making 1 or 2 threes. So that's why we started those 2 players, and obviously we made a change at center too. So a lot of changing of the starting lineup from what we saw our last game against North Carolina.
Coach, it seems like Chandler Lawson's 2 best games maybe have been against Purdue and now Duke, facing a couple of All-Americans. Just what have you made of his performances in those games, and what's enabled him to elevate his game in these matchups?
Well, I think it's, against a 7-foot or a 6'11" plus player, he does a great job of walling up. I think he's a really deceptive shot blocker. He's done a good job for us going vertical. And, sometimes, you play some of these other teams and they're, smaller. And the great thing is, we're going to run into a lot of real, big guys in our league that can score with their back to the basket and can score around the rim. So we're going to need, the shots blocked to play Duke and have 10 blocks is impressive.
Remembering, but Brazil, before his injury last year, I don't feel like he was rebounding the ball quite like what he's done this year. Is that an accurate assessment? Like, is he a better rebounder for you this year?
I think so. Look, I told him the other day, like, I think he's capable of having like 20 every night. He had 11 tonight. That's really good, but I think he should have more because of his leaping ability, his hands, his timing. So yeah, his stat line's awesome, but I think he's got potential in his body to get more.
Bounce back from TB after going scoreless Friday. And then with Caleb and the 5 assists, do y'all see that vision from him? Where he finds like maybe the weak side corner off the dribble. Do y'all see that behind closed doors a lot?
Not really, because we never go live. No, I just thought that, when he gets cooking, team, that occupies extra defenders. And I thought some of our guys had really good spacing. Like we were running to the ball all the time in the Bahamas. Like, it was like some guy dribbles and then 2 guys are running towards him. It's like, no, you got to do the opposite. Freaking run away from the ball to get open. We weren't getting open on dribble handoffs. We weren't setting our man up. And I thought we did a way better job tonight of little things like that.
But you've touched on it a little bit already, but towards the end of the game, you had a lot of trust in Layden Walker. What did you learn about the freshman tonight?
Well, I mean, I think that he earned that based on the way that he played in the Bahamas. But we also learned that when he goes to the offensive glass, it RJ Davis just annihilated us on their sideline break when Layden was doing that. And that's what you want. You want your players and your teams to learn from wins and losses. Like there's a lot we're going to be able to learn from tonight as well. But the thing with Layden is toughness, competitiveness, and no fear. I mean, those three categories, he's an A+. And then he's got areas that he's got to continue to get better on, which he will through experience and through work.
See T Markup moving around, even though he wasn't able to play. I guess, how is he doing? Is there any idea what the next several days might look like for him?
Yeah, I mean, the injury is the back is feeling better. Now we have some hip and groin stuff just from the aftershock of, the what the body absorbed. Really impressive because, we took off for 2 days, which we never do. Saturday and Sunday, and we show up Monday and he's in full uniform. I mean, there was no chance he was going to be able to do anything but gingerly walk around, but he put his uniform on. I've never seen it ever. He did it again today. He did it like he's, and I think that like helped our chemistry, believe it or not. Like that's a player being all in to, I mean, he could have easily been in street clothes. He could have easily gone and laid off on the side and, gotten treatment. Didn't get treatment at all Monday, Tuesday, or today in shoot around. He was in full uniform, standing, going from station to station. He asked questions about the game plan. But when he's available, have no idea because we're not going to play him if that groin has that's an injury that can linger. And there's no way we're putting him out there until he's got full clearance.
Coach, KB really led the way in the second half with 15 points. Can you talk about just what he was able to do to really take over and get momentum going into the late minutes of the game?
Well, I think anytime you have an explosive scorer, he's a really confident player and he saw a couple go through. And, if you look at, the nation's best free throw attempt players and free throw make players, he's in the top 10 or top 12 in the country. And then he's got great range on his three ball. And we wanted the ball in his hands, obviously, with you look at, KB's point total as well as his assists. I mean, pretty impressive numbers.
Eric, that was your 100th victory. I don't know if you even realize it with all the craziness, but
100th where?
Here.
Okay.
100th at Arkansas. I mean, to have, you
I
did
100 in the G League. I got 100 here. I've been a lot of places.
Okay.
I don't know what 100.
Yeah. I'm trying to add up all your wins. Maybe Mike can help me with that, but just do it in such a memorable way. What did that mean to you?
You know what? 100 never gave me a ball now that I'm thinking about it. I think at Nevada, Doug Knuth gave me a ball with the 100 wins. I got to check with Hunter on that. I guess he's been occupied of late.
To do it in that kind, you didn't beat, I don't know, nowhere state. You beat Duke,
Honestly, I had no idea until someone told me. I don't know if Kaywood someone told me. I had no idea, honestly, going into the game.
Speaking of wins, he only had 4 last year, and that tonight was his 5th, and he's from Durham. What do you think this game meant to him?
Probably a lot. I think that, anytime you play a team or a program that's even in proximity of, where you're from, I think it means something. And obviously playing at Louisville, same conference, it probably meant a lot to him. But I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, Bob, and tell you that I talked to him about it because I really don't care. Just wanted to figure out a way to win. So I never asked him about Durham or.
Kind of the tough schedule that y'all have played so far. Probably feels weird to y'all, but y'all have a week off or close to a week off before y'all's next game. Just what will y'all
blame
do?
that on Ruda. I mean, why we're not playing on the weekend, I really don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, what does the next couple days look like for the team?
I know a lot of film, a lot of areas to get better. I mean, we'll probably send our guys stuff tomorrow, and we had some guys play some heavy minutes in a physical game, so probably get back at it Friday, I guess.
Coach, I remember talking to you after the Auburn game a few years ago and just talking about how the thrill and the joy of a great victory, especially at home, never goes away. Know there's stuff to clean up after today, but I mean, do you still get the same rush that you did, like you said, in the G League and here and there, early Arkansas after a night like tonight?
Well, there's no environments like that in the G League. I can promise you that. Anybody that's been to a G League game, there's about 100 people there. But yeah, I mean, really, Aaron, like tonight, like the locker room, one of the coolest things ever is to see student athletes celebrate. I mean, they put so much work into it, and I mean, look, we don't have the record that we were hopeful to have. You lose tonight's game, now all of a sudden you're 500, and then you're wondering, you got to get some signature wins. And so like, there was a lot of pressure on tonight's game, a lot. And I thought our guys responded. Like, I mean, we let them know where we were. I mean, we didn't act like, hey, it's early in the season, we got time. I mean, it was discussed that it was a must win for us. And then for them to have internal pressure, external pressure, crowd pressure, and then to be able to, get a win is huge. And, it's like for all the coaches, their families and the players' families. I mean, I had a lot of people fly in from a lot of different parts of the country tonight, and it meant something, nationally as well.
Coach, all that pressure and the guys still, I mean, in the second half there, I think KB and Mackay are dancing after some made buckets. They played with a swagger tonight. Could you feel that type of performance maybe coming, or did you need to really like see it in the players needed to feel it to maybe build some confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I think everybody wants to see it, feel it, but no, I mean, I walked in the building thinking we were going to win tonight. No one feels sorry for you. I mean, I started laughing. I go, after the game, no one's even going to know that our leading scorer didn't play. Like, if you don't win the game, nobody's saying, well, T. Mark didn't play, because nobody cares. It was a great lesson. Chuck Daly, I heard him say it 100 times. Nobody gives whatever word you want to use when you got a guy out. They just say you won or lost. And so I thought our guys, they responded. I mean, we talked the last 2 days like we were going to win the game. Like, we weren't coming in here hopeful. We felt that we were going to win if we did X, Y, and Z, and we did that. We won the battle of the boards. We went to our depth a little bit earlier than normal. We had a couple guys make threes that maybe hadn't. We told our foremen they were going to be wide open based on the fact that if we put our 5-man in pick and rolls, their 4-man's going to help when our 5 rolls. And sure enough, some of those things started happening, and our guys, had great belief and knocked down some shots that maybe we hadn't in Nassau.
When you're starting to create some separation, Caleb hits a 3, puts you up 8. He hits another one later, puts you up 14. How much do you think he loves those momentum type shots?
I mean, I think one of them he missed too. Like, I mean, I think he and JD might be related. Note, because they both just kind of out there balling. You know what I mean? Like, some of his shots, you're like, oh no, and then they go in, and you're like, oh, great shot.
Defense. This team was an elite offensive team, top 10 in the country, according to KenPom. You took everything away. They did well. Their assisted turnover was 2-1 as a team, 10-8. They barely broke even there. And then 35% from the field, 27% from 3. You took it all away. Did it start on that end really? Because the ball movement was better on offense, but was the defense really the catalyst?
Yeah, I mean, I think, offensively it was, we added 2 pick and roll plays. One of them we just I mean, we called it Duke Fist. And that we got a lot of open shots with our four-man going from the right wing and looping underneath to the left corner. TB got, 2 wide open looks, and I know Davenport got one when he played that same spot. But yeah, defensively, I think the one area, Kevin, that we were really disappointed in was the defense in Nassau, because shots come and go. And I thought defensively we have enough quickness and enough length to play better on that side of the ball.